We all want to be great leaders, but in order to become a great leader, we must first start by understanding our own selves. The more we understand who we are, it will help us become better leaders. Many executives who find themselves in a leadership position assume they are good or even great leaders. But leadership is a challenge that requires constant vigil. I don't know if this is the best analogy, but leadership, I sometimes think about riding a bull, one of those mechanical bulls at the rodeo, or even a real bull. The circumstances, the challenges that a leader faces represents the bull, if you will. Very difficult challenges, and it can throw you off in a second. Your own sense of awareness of where you are, on how you're on the bull, can help you stay on the bull long enough where you can calm the bull down and be able to bring it under your influence. Self-awareness, to me, is one of the biggest qualities that a leader must have. Those leaders who have developed their own self-awareness go on to become great leaders. Do you ask yourself, how am I growing as a leader? What am I doing to become a better leader? Am I connecting? Am I leading better? If you're not asking yourself those questions, then please start, because leadership cannot come by default, cannot happen by default. We all must work on becoming better leaders. If you believe you know everything there is about leadership, then let me tell you to rethink that, because that could be a mistake. I love Carl Sagan's quote, which says, "Intellectual brilliance is no guarantee against being dead wrong." So if you're a leader, continue to please ask yourself, how do I become better? How do I sharpen my leadership skills? Leadership is as much about others as it is about you. Leadership could be the phenomenon that changes you, that molds you. The more you learn about yourself, the better you will become a leader. The more you develop self-awareness, not only will it help you with leadership, but it will help you with life in general. Few executives have the ability to observe their own actions and decisions in a dispassionate manner, where they can have an out-of-body experience and watch themselves and say, how am I doing? How am I reacting in situations? How am I making decisions? How am I communicating? Self-awareness allows you to have that out-of-body experience, so you can then judge yourself and say, all right, these are the areas in which I need to improve. Self-awareness can become a great strength in challenging times, because the organization is constantly watching you as a leader. Whether you realize it or not, even your smallest gesture, the words that you use, your body language is being what? The ideas that you put out every Monday morning is being consumed by the organization, and your credibility with the organization depends on your consistency. How consistent is your thought, and what is your tone? Many times we use a certain tone in a meeting and don't realize what that tone has communicated. We use certain words. I hear this phrase when I go into meetings and I help executives understand that it sounds like a very simple phrase, but it has deep meaning. And that phrase is, when you're in a meeting, a top leader will say, I disagree with you. And I coach executives to use different phrases, because as soon as you say, I disagree with you, and you're the boss, it kills the discussion. It tells people that they are wrong. You want to cultivate a healthy environment. You want to facilitate a discussion. And so your tone, your words, your body language has a big impact on how your team functions and how it rises to the occasion. You as a leader need to be self-aware of everything that you're putting out, the messages you're putting out, and the way you're putting out those messages. As a leader, when you do not develop your self-awareness, you never realize how you are being influenced by your own fear, your own greed, your own hubris, your own ego. We are all human beings, and we are affected by these emotions and these feelings. You're a leader, you're a great leader, but you still have those feelings. Every leader does. I have met so many great leaders who still have self-doubt. When I meet them behind the closed doors, I can see their self-doubt. All of us have those. When you develop self-awareness, you become acutely aware of what you are going through. And as we discussed, your emotions then come out on display, and the team and the organization watches that. As human beings, we all, whether we are leaders or not, we all have multiple layers of subconscious in our mind. Our mind mind makes us behave sometimes in ways that are contrary to our values or what we would describe ourselves as behaving. When I go to meet a CEO, I'm always looking for is who am I meeting? Am I meeting the conscious level CEO who is the logical CEO, or am I meeting that day because of some stress or some firefighting that is going on? Am I meeting a CEO who's acting from his or her subconscious level? Those can be two very different people. I go into companies and I find that in meetings people agree at a logical level, at a conscious level, but 2 weeks later their behavior, they have reverted back to their old behavior, not because they were dishonest in the meeting or wanted to mislead, is because people act at different levels based on where they're coming from. The subconscious, everyone's subconscious has so many aspects buried deep in those layers. When we become self-aware, we begin to understand some of the things that drive us that are buried deep in our subconscious. If you want to be a great leader, please begin to understand your own layers, your own motivations, your deep yearnings and aspirations, because that will help you become credible in the organization. That will allow you to lead the organization to great heights from a genuine, authentic place. Ask yourself, how much of your Kool-Aid are you drinking yourself? How much of it are you buying into? Are you looking at it? Are you doing the right due diligence on your own ideas? Which aspects of your personality prevents you from succeeding? Sometimes, and unfortunately for many of us, many times, we are our biggest stumbling blocks. We prevent our own success. So are you spending time thinking about and understanding yourself so you can understand what are your weaknesses, which are your strengths, and how to manage your weaknesses, how to get the right help so that your weaknesses do not prevent you from succeeding. Ask yourself, how open are you to changing? As leaders, when I talk to leaders, they talk about the organization needing to change. But a question I ask is, how open are you to changing? And you need to know that about yourself, because it's okay. Sometimes we're open to change, sometimes we're not open to change. I'm not here to judge. All I'm here to do is help you understand your own self. Because sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. We believe we can do all of this, or we're going to make this happen, and then we find out we're not really willing to change. And as a leader, you set the tone. So please understand how much you are willing to change. And there is a lot of questions that we can ask, but let me leave you with the last question. How aware are you of the unintended consequences of your own actions and decisions? Do you take that into consideration? Because leadership, people who are in leadership roles have such a huge impact. They must think about the unintended consequences of their actions and decisions. And are you aware of that? Sometimes I meet leaders who make decisions, who like to make decisions fast and from their instinct. And I appreciate that. But I wish that they would take the time to understand what are the consequences that can happen. Sometimes that they don't see what are your blind spots. Do you think about that? As you develop self-awareness, please think about these questions. Leadership, if we were to define leadership at the most fundamental level, leadership is about connecting with other people, but it's about that connection. Once you build that connection, magic happens. You can push your team to perform, but that can only work for so long. If you're able to motivate the team and connect with them, that truly can create magic. And that magic can come when you begin to understand yourself and use that understanding to connect with the other human beings around you. Like the rodeo rider, become aware of yourself so you can manage control over that metaphorical bull of difficult circumstances. Develop self-awareness and become a great leader. Thank you for listening.